Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, let's talk current game about business. And when you're dealing with a real business entrepreneur, whether it's small, mid-size, or big, versus when you're dealing with a entrepreneur. Now, I want to say, let's stop all these calls. Let's stop all. I know people are bored, they're tired, they're all that, but let's stop the calls. And I hope for all the consultants out there, you have a system that stops the calls. And I'll share with mine. But let's stop the calls where people call you, they text you and say, hey, let's talk business. Let's talk business to someone who's already doing business. Means that you have something that you're offering, that you have, maybe you have an interest in the services, or you want to offer me a service. But to let's just talk business to try to get a free consulting session is not business. And it shows that you have a lack of business. You know, business is something that's ever going. I play with business like I played with toys. And if you knew anything about me back in the day, I had all the toys. I had toy boxes on top of toy boxes. You can go verify that. But I love business. Even in this backdrop right here is the Grambling State face mask that we are selling. If you're interested, you can always send an email. Contact, email. You can do social media too, but email probably be seen first. But somebody in the team will get back to you as long as we still have these in store. But that's business. I'm telling you about this because I actually have this for sale and can tell you how we're doing this slow rollout to see how this is going to go. Because with all this coronavirus and whatever comes after, these face masks are going to be my way of going out. So, and it's going to be a great time, and it's room for a great business, idea. Sometimes you just play with business like you play with toys, and you can put the toy back and say, okay, I'm not one who likes to necessarily manage the same business every day. I want to kind of come back and forth and do something else and go into another business. Like, it's a toy to me. Now, it's a toy that keeps this living going, and this, trips and toys for kids and toys for wives and whatever, whoever else needs whatever they need, but in how we eat. So it's serious, but it's a toy. It's a game, like Diversified Game. And some people drive cars, and those are like their toys, and they've been doing it forever. Some people fly planes because, they play planes and they would do all this as kids, and now they do that. But let's just stop the talk of that you want to talk business when you don't want to talk business. You want free advice, and there is no free quality advice. You might have that one conversation in a networking thing, or someone. I have friends I talk to all day about business because I know they're not necessarily business people, and they just genuinely want to know what's going on with me, whether things are good, whether things are bad. But then you have people who try to sneak in there. They try to sneak in and say, hey, let's talk business. And a lot of times these people will try to be flirtatious. A lot of times these people will try to gas you up. They'll try to tell you all these great things about yourself that you already know, even though you might not project it out to the world like some world leaders in America and say, I'm the greatest. But let's talk business means you are calling a professional, and we're actually talking business. Now, this is how, and I hope for all the consultants out there, and almost everybody is a consultant nowadays. The thing is, are you good? Have you studied your craft? Do you have a mentor in this? Have you read the books? Have you even been mentored through the books, to lets me know if you're a real consultant? How you get paid lets me know how you're a real consultant. And we've had real consultants on here. We've even had the king of consulting, Alan Weiss, on here, and he's the king because nobody's written more books than Alan on the subject, and no one sold more books than Alan Weiss on the subject. So let's talk business. Now, my thing is, when people want to talk about what do you do, I stopped talking. It was a couple of years ago. I stopped talking, and I just send off a email sent to them. They can see what our prices are, what some of the services are. They can go, I have a short form, and then I have even a longer, more detailed form. And the more detailed stuff just gets more, expensive because it's more time. And if folks, a lot of times, wow, that's a lot of money, because I break it down how much this is even going to cost you a year in this simple form. And they say, okay, I don't have that type of money. Maybe I'm new, I'm starting up. Okay, if you're new and you're starting up, I have a hotline. And so I send them a link, and they can, schedule a time on Acuity or Calendarly or whatever they like. And those prices, start at a certain level for folks who need more time. And then it's broken down into, if you maybe just need an hour time. Some people just need a hotline, an accountability partner to call for that time. But people only respect a lot of times what they pay for. If you're giving people free advice all the time, they're not going to, act on it. Now, I've had people, mentees, people I'm coaching, people I'm just being their accountability partner, and they've paid. And then they've come up with a business that I'm like, wait, I like that business. Now our conversation, don't pay me, because we're about to do some business. And I tell them we're going to do some business. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Because actually I need the help. And I'm like, I'm your help guy. I'm your systems guy. Okay, you need admin. Okay, you need this, you need that. You want to be the creative, and you want to do, this part of it, but you don't want to do that part of it. And have to know when to recognize it, because I recognize it even for myself. When I don't want to do something, when I know I'm only going to, do this for a short amount of time. So you got to do business that way, because now that person, we're business partners. He was paying me, or she was paying me, but now we're partners, because I can get a hold of that and be like, wait, I like that. And so, my whole thing going online, 100,000 people aren't really serious about business. So will they watch it? But it would only takes one person to see this, call me like they've had in the past, and say, hey, I want to do business with you. Tell me, the ins and outs of what you do, and, whether I'm buying from them or if they're sitting in a check, via online or whatnot, because who's really getting checks? We still have like one client who does checks, and it was this year. She was like, I'm going to be sending the checks electronically. And I was like, yes, I'm tired of going to the, mailbox, look at the check, take a picture of the check, send it off, because we've been social distancing since technology has been around. Why walk into a bank? There's only actually one of my credit unions I actually like everybody in there, and I'll go in there. But most big banks and those accounts, I don't like going to see those people anyway. And even with the credit union now, I'm doing them a favor of not going in, because the more people who go in, the more they're at risk. And these are the people that we need so we can run business. So let's not just talk business, people. Let's cut those people who I consistently say are distraction people. Since they don't have much going on, or they know they can't pursue and finish what they're doing, they want to bring everyone down or into their circle. No. We're talking business. So let's talk business. Let's talk real money being, transactions. Let's not just talk in theory. Let's put some plans, some strategies in place. Be ready to break bread with one another, because as you know, my hashtag is with unity, we all win. We all win. And that's the same thing with this virus thing. Some folks won't stay at home. We all can't win, and people are going to be, in harm's way at the end of the day. But guess what? The business side of it is, if you do what you're supposed to do, and if you listen to the experts, you put yourself in a better place. For all the folks who are protesting, please don't show up to the hospital when you're sick. For all the people who know more than the medical doctors, who spent an additional 14 years of real science and facts, and science, whatever you think of it, I bet if your child was sick, you'd be running to the doctor and not to the people that you're protesting with, not to the herbalists, not to the people who know more than the people who do this day in, day out. But that's the business. That's business because they've put the time and effort in. So with that, you guys like, share, subscribe. This is a community. This is game that you need, that, you know, your daddy should have told you, your mama wanted to tell you. Maybe you weren't listening. Maybe you'll hear it here. But the business of doing real business, not just talking, those days are over.